Hello guys, we decided to build some 275 gallon Ibc Totes for hunting blinds, and we decided to share the build with you, so here we go. Everything you see here is going to be our windows. The window design I got from Buckpole, and I can't remember the name of the other guy that did it, but it's not my idea, but we're going to make a couple modifications to it, kind of make it our own. I drew up a blueprint of how this build's going to go. It's going to have your parts list, quantities, measurements, everything that you'll need. I'm sure there'll be modifications as we go, and we'll address them when we get there. So we don't have the totes yet, but we're going to tackle the windows today. Should be pretty straightforward, and thankfully there's this thing called editing, and you guys won't know the difference. So we'll get after the windows and update you on the way. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these acrylic sheets in half. They are 30 by 36. I'm going to cut the height so it's 36. I'm going to cut that in half so it'll be 18 inches by 30, and those will be our windows. Okay guys, right here's a completed window. We're going to point out a couple things real quick. One is you have to recess your hinges into your frame, otherwise it will crack. These ones I recessed afterwards, nice and flush. All I did was I took a razor blade, I marked them, and kind of used it like a wood chisel, but just nice slow cutting with it. It's pine, so it split real easy and came right apart. Another thing is make sure you have your hinges in the right direction. This one is backwards, and I get about 90 degrees of open with it. Flip it around, not exactly 180, but it's a lot closer. Now with these Ibc Totes, they are 40 by 48. So with a window being 18 inches wide, and then you're gonna have another frame part of a 2x4, you're already at 20 inches. So if you're sitting in the middle, you're not going to be able to have more than one window open if you keep the hinge like this. But good news is you just take the screw out. It's slotted now, so you just pull it out, flip it around, put it back in. Another thing, they have protective film on them on both sides. You can see it on this side. I forgot to pull it back on this side, so either I'm going to have to cut around with a razor blade, real gentle, and pull the film off, or take the whole frame back off. Another thing I did was I drilled out so I could join the two, make a joint. I drilled down about 1/2 inch. I used 1.5 inch cabinet screws, and it's really sturdy now. You can't bend it at all. If you compare it to just the regular piece of plexi. So that's just a couple things real quick. Now I'm going to build up the other side of it. Another thing, I just squared it up real quick, clamped it with these hand clamps, and you have to pre-drill all of your holes, otherwise it will split or crack. I just used some 1/2 inch pan heads, nice and light, just snug them up. You don't want to really draw them in or you'll crack it. But I didn't go any specific measurement, I just went with what felt right. You'll feel that it will lift or bow, and just run your hand along it until it feels right. But that's about what he looks like. Okay guys, when I left off with you, I said I was going to build up the other side. So this side will be what mounts to the inside of the blind, facing outwards. Just some 2x4, just framed it off again, and I used some garage door seal, and I just push it right up to the edge. Those same 1/2 inch pan heads. No specific measurement, just what felt good where it wasn't blowing up and pushing out. A nice tight seal all the way around. Then with the hinge, I did it to the bottom of the 2x4. That way I can get nice and wide open. Just like that. This will be the inside view looking out. Nothing too crazy. Okay guys, so we got the totes last night. I took them out. Now we just got the cage. I cut the top rung off the cage. All I did was just took a jigsaw, laid it flat on this rung. Nice light pressure with a new bimetal blade, and it just went right through, no problem at all. Used one blade for the whole thing. The bottom of my window is going to be 37 inches, which happens to be just at that bottom rung. So my next step is going to be to cut the tote, get it in there, get it cleaned out too, can't forget that. But got to make a plan for my door. It's going to be on the one of the short sides, but I think I'm going to do it on this side just because this is where it's crimped together, the weakest part of the cage, so I'll just get that out of the way. Don't have to worry about that. Then I'll cut the top cage. Then I'll cut that tote, clean it out, get everything mocked up, get my windows cut out, and we'll update you along the way.